Hello, welcome to another edition of Andy Collier-talks Cricket Memorabilia. This morning we've got a change of scene. We're at Jon Filby's museum come library come everything else, and he's a member of the Sussex Cricket Museum and the founder of the Cricket Museum, so we're going to have a good chat with him and hopefully show what he started off his collection and how far it's got with all the autographs and photographs, pictures, so hopefully we're going to have a good day.
Hello Andy, and hello everybody out there. First of all, Andy, thank you very much for coming to see me today. I'm really pleased that you've come and get a chance to have a chat about cricket memorabilia, which is basically something that I obsess over and spend most of my life being involved in one way or another. My passion for cricket started in 1964. My dad was a clergyman and my grandfather was a university professor, and they were both really mad on cricket. My granddad used to work at Birmingham University, and so when we were young, my brothers and I would be taken every year for a couple of days cricket at Edgbaston, and that was the very beginning. And my first game, 1964, I've got the scorecard in my collection, and I saw Statham bowling to the Warwickshire team. I was 4 years old, and the whole magnificence of the speed and everything really struck me. I loved it. I then had a huge passion for cricket from that moment onwards. My first autograph, Ken Barrington, 1966, Bentles at Kingston. My dad by then had become a vicar in Richmond, and I think it was in the Easter we went over to see the Surrey players in the nets inside Bentles in Kingston. Other people would probably remember that too. And I got Barrington's autograph. That was my first autograph. The second autograph that I remember was Neil Hawke. My dad played cricket against him and came back and proudly gave me an autograph to Jonathan and Andrew, my brother Andy, from best wishes from Neil Hawke. So those were my first autographs and my first tasting of cricket memorabilia. And then in 1971 the family moved to Hove, and that was really where my love affair with cricket developed in full bloom. And from that summer onwards I went to every day's cricket at Hove, first 11, second 11. I started collecting autographs. Must have got about 150 Tony Greggs and 100 John Snows. They probably got sick of the sight of me, and that was really happy days. Hove was a fantastic place to be. The team weren't very good. We had a moment of triumph in 1973. We went to the Gillette Cup final, but we lost to Mike Proctor, and then by sort of 77, 78, I was becoming. I'd gone off to university. I still follow cricket a lot, but I then got into playing village cricket. I played village cricket for years in a place called Barnes Green near Horsham. Played against David Frith, who was playing for Blackheath at the time, and from there kept the cricket thing going. And by about 2003 I somehow got back into starting collecting cricket books, so sort of 20 years ago. And I got back into going down to Hove, and I got more and more involved in Hove cricket, and I became the secretary of the museum. The museum trust was founded, the Sussex Cricket Museum, an educational trust. It was founded in 2009. I became the secretary in 2010 or 11, and at round about that time we were given our first permanent home. And in 2012 we opened the doors to the Cricket Museum under the pavilion at Hove, and I think many of you will have been there. And I'm now really chuffed that I'm the chairman of that trust, and we have a fantastic collection of Sussex cricket memorabilia that we look after and that we curate. And one of the things that we do, and Andy, I'm sure hopefully we'll get a chance I can show you some of the publications that have come out of that. My other involvement with cricket at the moment is that I'm chair of the Sussex Cricket Foundation. That is the charitable arm of Sussex Cricket. And we raise money each year to enable people to get the opportunity to be involved in cricket who probably without our efforts and without our fundraising wouldn't be involved. And so there's a fantastic programme of things. The place where the museum and the foundation overlap is a programme called Sporting Memories, where we invite older people who's suffering from either dementia or loneliness get an opportunity to come along once a week and spend a couple of hours in the museum and talk about their memories of cricket. And actually that's such a powerful thing. It's making a huge difference to people's lives, and we've now opened our 6th Sporting Memories event in Sussex.
Okay, John, we're going to start hopefully with your collection of English Test cricketers and more. So we've got a lovely folder in front of us, so hopefully you've got some famous names in there. If you'd like to start flicking them over, we can see what's in there.
Okay, Andy, yeah, I collect. I've started collecting, I don't know, in about 2003 when I really got back into collecting. I started collecting Test cricketers' autographs, and I've now got them. There are 3,026 Test cricketers. If you count the people who played for 2 countries as 2, there are 3,026 Test cricketers, and I'm missing altogether about 240 of them. Of which I think 41 are England Test cricketers, and those are all the early ones. So it starts in chronological order with the England captain in the first match, James Lillywhite. The other autograph that I've got is this letter from Alfred Shaw, which is dated 1891, and it's to somebody that he's written to, inviting them to meet him at the county ground at Hove, because at that time he played a few games for Sussex. He was the professional at Sheffield Park after he left Nottinghamshire, and this is a lovely letter with a beautiful Shaw signature at the end. So those are the only 2 that I've got from the first Test, but then as you go through it becomes more and more populated with autographs. So Lord Harris and Hornby, Lucas, nice cabinet card of W.G. Grace, and I've got one Craig poem in there as well. McKinnon, Webb, so it goes on. Edward, E.M. Grace, another couple of bits of Grace stuff. There's an autograph with his address there in Clifton in Bristol, and a signed postcard. Something from Littleton, Littleton and Steele, and then you get to the point where actually I've probably got nearly all of the autographs. So this is a nice little team sheet. It's a Gloucestershire, mainly Gloucestershire, but it also features Shrewsbury, Gilbert, Jessup, Townsend, Grace, and Board there. So that's a lovely little autograph sheet. It is a rarity.
Very nice.
I actually I bought that on eBay, believe it or not, about 10 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. There's a very nice CT stud. CT studs are difficult autograph to track down, and this is this was actually in a book, but it's as you know, he became a missionary, and this is the frontispiece of a book, Quaint Rhymes from the Battlefield, with a nice stud autograph that's been stuck in or glued in. Laid down, I suppose, is what people would call it. Ivo Bly, the great Ivo Bly, O'Brien, and then you come to the 1890s, and most of them are here. So Atwell, Briggs, Lohman, Gunn, Bobby Peel, and so on. Stoddart, Abel, Sugg, which is a harder one to get, and Harry Wood, Sherman. Aubrey Smith, a personal favourite, a Sussex man. We've done some work on cleaning up his grave as part of the Sussex Cricket Museum. That's been a really nice thing to have been involved in. Did that with Jim Carter. People know Jim as Carson in Downton Abbey. He was making a radio programme about Aubrey Smith, and he called us up to see whether we knew where he was buried, and we took him to the place. Got there, found that grave really badly overgrown, total disrepair really. He was buried there in 1948. His ashes were buried there in 1948 after he'd been brought back from Hollywood, where he died. And the grave, which is a beautiful marble big grave was it was heavily stained, overgrown, and we organised a little event that Jim organised. We organised a dinner at Lord's, and through that we were able to pay for the grave to be restored. And if you go to St Leonard's Churchyard on New Church Road in Hove, you can now see that grave in all its glory. So Aubrey Smith's an important part of Sussex cricket, and really interesting man. And then moving on, there's Chatterton and Ferris and the Hearns. I think this is a sheet from Leicester, but it's got Puffer on it, which is a harder autograph to find, and so I've kept the whole sheet. Murdoch there, another really important Sussex cricketer. There's a big bias to Sussex in the things that I really like, obviously, and I'm really pleased to have that one in my collection. And then Lockwood and Jackson and Mould, and so it goes on.
That's a lovely
Tom Richardson,
lovely foil, that
McLaren. Well, there's a nice bit of CB Fry. He did this quite a bit, actually. I think there might even be one of these in Knight's auction next week. A little sketch that Fry did to accompany the signing of an autograph.
I take it you've got most of these through auction, or
I probably auction, collection, swapping with friends who also collect. I mean, it's been going I've been doing this very actively for about 20 years. I didn't, last calendar year, 2019, I didn't add one older England player. I obviously added the likes of Sibley and Crawley and so on to my collection. But I didn't add, and Joffre, who I'm particularly proud of and chuffed with. But I didn't get any new autographs, so it's harder. These are quite hard to track down. There are one or two collectors who've got these very, very scarce autographs.
Do you know of any collector that's got closer to you than the England?
Oh, there's several who've got more than me. So I do know several, yes, but I don't know. I don't know who has the most complete collection. Okay. I'm sure there's nobody who's got all of them.
No, Andy Taylor. He's got.
Andy Taylor's roughly about the same number as me. Yeah.
I think you sort of get stuck, don't you?
You get stuck, and they become very hard to find, and then you have to outbid each other in auction and spend more and more money. So it's a harder thing to do, but I'm really happy with what I've got. I enjoy what I've got, and if there's any chance to add to it, then that would be great. Hobbs is a particular favourite, and the thing about Hobbs is there's so much to collect. He was so generous with the letters that he wrote. Look, I've got several letters here, and people will have lots and lots of these type of things in their collection. But one thing that I'm particularly pleased to have in my collection is this item, which is it's the dinner menu from his retirement, from the farewell dinner for his retirement from county cricket in 1935. Look at the Dorchester Hotel. I'm afraid it's not signed by anybody. You do see see examples of it being signed, but it is in very good condition. It's a lovely piece, and look at that beautiful,
it is lovely,
beautiful cover. So that's something that I particularly like. And Hobbs, he ended up in Hove. He lived his last years in Hove. He's buried in Hove. And I talked about my grandfather earlier. As children, we were always on Sundays. When he was down, we used to go for a walk down to look at Hobbs's grave. In the 1970s, so you can sense there how sort of indoctrinated in cricket I was.
Yeah, sure.